stop seeing the fault in our stars. Hi guys, it's Amanda and today I'll be reviewing Kiersten White's The Chaos of Stars. I really quite enjoyed this book and gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. It was, however, missing a few of the elements that made me really love her Paranormalcy trilogy, so that was kind of disappointing. The story follows Isadora, who is the daughter of Isis, the Egyptian goddess of motherhood and life, and Osiris, the Egyptian god of the underworld. Being raised by Egyptian gods, Isadora always imagined that one day she'd join them just like her brother Horus did. However, she finds out that her mother isn't going to make her immortal, she's going to die, and she was only created so she would be there to worship her family to keep them in human form. When she finds out about this, understandably, she gets a little bit angry and starts resenting her parents. She struggles with this idea that she is not permanent, she is just a moment in time, and that she feels that her family don't love her because they won't give her this gift of life. They want her to die as far as she's concerned. So one day her mother starts having bad dreams about a terrible darkness that's coming after Isadora and herself. So she sends Isadora off to live in San Diego with her older brother Cyrus, which Isadora is thrilled about because it means that she gets to live a normal life. However, when she gets to San Diego and moves in with her brother, she finds out that he's now got a wife and a child on the way, and that he's not quite as removed from her family as she thought he was. But even though she's managed to move away from her godly parents, she still finds that they're controlling her life and she can't actually escape her family. Isadora is able to make friends, and she becomes really good friends with Tyler, Scott and Rye, and it's really quite enjoyable watching their friendship grow. One of the things I really liked about the Paranormalcy trilogy was the characters. I thought that they were really cleverly put together, and I think in a lot of ways Isadora is very much like Evie. However, she's missing the humour that Evie had, and she's not quite as happy, and it was really quite depressing being in her head because she was just like really an angry character. Although her changing attitude was the point of the story, her attitude kind of irritated me at points because it's like she's acting like a spoiled child for most of the book. Tyler was a really nice breath of fresh air by the point she came in, because by that point I needed it because I was getting very sick of Isadora's negative attitude, and Tyler brought in a lovely ray of sunshine. One thing I really did not like about Tyler was her name. I'm yet to know a girl with the name of Tyler. I'm maybe thinking that it was a misprint and it was meant to be Taylor. It just sort of, every time that I read it, I had to remind myself that it was not a guy, it was a girl character, and it got a little bit irritating after a while. Scott was a bit of a plain blank character. I never really got to know him all that well, and he was only there as the boyfriend of Tyler. He didn't have any competition for Rye's heart from the best friend, because that would have created more drama, and it was a little bit like he was a filler character that didn't quite get his story told. Rye was almost the quintessential perfect character. Like, you've got him at first being this antisocial creature who was writing in a journal all the time, and while I think that was really interesting because it was something a little bit different having an antisocial leading guy, but all of a sudden he stops being like that, and it's almost like a side note that he writes poetry just to make him that little bit more perfect. Even the book, they even give him a limp and make a point of saying, oh, he's even better because he's not so perfect anymore. I thought this was a really crappy leading character because, especially considering I know what she can write when she wrote Lend, I did find it interesting how similar the description of Lend and Rye were. It's very much a type that seems to be happening in these books. One of my favourite bits was in the beginning of each chapter where she told you the Egyptian myths, but she did it through Isadora's eyes, so you get a really nice snarky sort of commentary going through there, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was cleverly done, and it meant that although coming into this I had not read that much Egyptian mythology, not nearly as much, for example, as I would have read of Greek, which I know pretty well, but by the end of the book I knew every story that I needed to know for the book, and I maybe a little bit more outside that, and it gave me a little bit more idea about how all the Egyptian legends fit together. So yeah, I was very impressed with that. I thought this was a really enjoyable book about family and what it means to be human. Even it was only really short, but it's still very, very enjoyable. Okay, that's it for the non-spoiler section. If you haven't read this book, go ahead and read it, and then you can come back and watch the rest of this review. The big twist that comes in this book of who Rai really is did not surprise me at all. I was actually very disappointed that it was so easily worked out, and that Isadora didn't work it out. It was very, very obvious when all of a sudden there's this character who, just like her, has this ungodly beauty. Just like her, can speak a variety of languages, and just so happens to be named after one of the most famous constellations in the sky. I thought that it was just so obvious that she didn't work it out, and all the references to him being Greek and his mother's beauty, and just it all was like, come on, it's staring you right in the face. Him being perfect just because he was this godly character, again, kind of irritated me, because we've got Isadora, who is also a child of the gods, and she definitely has issues, whereas this wonderful, perfect leading man that we have in Orion was kind of like, I'm struggling to find his fatal flaw, which is what I would think a very important part of his character as the son of Greek gods. So it was sort of disappointing there. Okay guys, that's it from me. Don't forget that my giveaway ends on Tuesday, so make sure you get your entries in before then, and I'll see you for my next video. Bye guys!